numbers of money in a planner, because you can then go back and you can see your handwriting. I mean, it's some people put it on a spreadsheet, and I do too. I put it on a spreadsheet. But I also take pen to paper. Trust me on this one. By writing it down, you will be more able to meet your goals than if you do not write it down. You have to also use your Build a Budget spreadsheet and open it up and save it and deduct the numbers from those cells, right? And then resave it. Otherwise, you'll get to the end of the year and be like, whoa, I spent way too much money. How did this happen? So, more importantly though, I do believe writing it down on paper will help you bring practice to fruition, especially in the accumulation phase. So, to wrap up 2021 and this episode for episode 56, which is the Show Me the Money episode, I am going to show you my numbers for 2021. So, you may recall from the end of 2020, my ending balance, remember, in 2020 was $971,000. I had to look at that number and be like, oh my gosh, that is what I got to. I remember being so elated. I was like, wow, I finally got to $1 million. Now, you know what's really funny? $1 million doesn't mean what it used to mean many years ago, and I know many of you are young and such, but when I've shared with you before, a lot of people don't even get to $1 million ever in their lifetime. So to make that a goal, I think, is still in and of itself a really good goal. And if you have expenses that are super low, then that million can support you in retirement. Now, of course, by the time you guys get to age 55 or 60, we're looking many years into the future, so your million might be 1.25 million or something like that. Follow me? But because I was such a late in life saver, I made that a goal and I stuck to it. So in 2020 then, the amount of money I had in my investments and savings was $971,000. In the year 2021, I invested and saved $67,000. That's up $6,000 from 2020. So I was able in my budget to find $6,000 more dollars. See, that's what you want to do every single year as you go from one year to the next. Let's say you get a raise of 3%, maybe 4%, or maybe you change jobs and you get a really big raise. You always go back to your budget and you figure out, where do I want to filter those funds? Where is it best allocated? Should I maybe bump up my fund budget? Yes, absolutely. You're going to look at the money that's coming in addition to what you had before, and properly allocate it. You still want to have a good time now. You don't want to save all of your money, right? You may not want to be as drastic as I had to be because I started so late. But I was able to, when I was building my budget, put that $6,000 into investments for 2021. So $971,000 was the beginning balance. I put in $67,000, and I ended the year with $1,151,707. Now, if you go to a calculator and you cross-check, that's a little bit off. I think I'm off by 50 or 60,000. I think that's because I put cash into the equation, and that offset the number. But the beginning and ending balance are the beginning and ending balance. That's undisputed. What's also undisputed is, of course, I put in $67,000. So my gain really was probably about 12%, just like it was in 2020. So, with that, in thinking about closing today's episode, I just want to recap briefly and stress the importance of 2019, 20, and 21. as you think forward into another 10 or 15 years into the future, you will also have a 2019, 20, and a 21. Does that make sense? The years in the future are always going to be similar to what we saw in the past. There's no guarantee, as you know, that the stock market will continue to return on average the 10% that everybody talks about. But it's been going on for so long, we have to go under the mindset of what we know about the past. We have to control, as you know, what we can control. And what we can control to some extent is our income. We can get better jobs, we can get a side job, we can do this, we can do that. If you're in a two-person household, both of you could be working, right? So that generates a lot more income than somebody that's single. And we can also, to some extent, and to a very high extent in most cases, control our expenses. That's what you want to do as you move forward, is have that discipline and have that control of what you can control. And expenses is something that you can and you will be able to control, just like I talked about last time, remember? Because if you get to the distribution phase, and you will get to the distribution phase, and if you have if a financial advisor says to you, you can take $50,000, but you know you only need about 30, well, then you've got a lot of wiggle room in your budget. That's exactly where you want to position yourself, to have that flexibility in how much you really need versus how much you may want to pull off from that portfolio. You could take the 50, you just need 30, so in some years you might want to leave the 20 there, which then offsets money that you may need in the future as well, which is a win-win in all of itself. But if you wanted to take that additional $20,000, you could increase your lifestyle in